something will happen to us. Hopefully not soon. But either natural or man-made, that would.
For the first time in 2,000 years, last month, the shofar horn was blown on the Temple Mount in Israel.
Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Stronard. Thank you so much for all the love and support. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, also educate each and every one of us. You guys are the real MVP. So lovelies, I came across the statistics on my For You, and I thought to share that people are reacting to the fact that for the first time in 2,000 years that the shofar was actually blown. This had actually sparked a lot of controversy on the space of social platform, and I was able to put up some of the stitches, and also I stitched a video about Elon talking about something which actually happened on Earth, giving an insight of everybody really needs to be on an alert. Lovelies, I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of other stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. So lovelies, why not just share your thought? What do you think about this shofar blowing? What do you also think about Elon Musk talking about something that's going to happen to us?
For the first time in 2,000 years, last month, the shofar horn was blown on the Temple Mount in Israel. We've been keeping up and keeping track on exactly what type of developments are taking place over there in Israel. This is another one of those developments, a major one, might I add. They have been getting bolder and bolder, more tenacious, and they have been pretty much letting folks know that, hey, we want that Temple Mount back, and we want to get that temple back on the mount just as it used to be. With it now being September, and with this being the month of a lot of the Jewish feasts, I believe, guys, that as I mentioned before, we are in for some very, very prophetic days. We have a blood moon coming up on September 7th, and on September 21st, a partial solar eclipse. Guys, look, I'm gonna tell you this just like this. If you don't have a relationship with Jesus, if you don't read your Bible, if you have no clue what I'm talking about right now, please take this video as a sign and begin to study. Begin to watch and consume information regarding the end times, because time is running out, bro. God is trying to round up his very last ones. Just as is written in the prophets, he has his angel going about and he's marking people. He's trying to find his people so that he would protect them. He would keep them in the dark days that we are in. And guys, look, bro, if you don't have God's protection for the times that are coming, you really are going to be like a chicken with his head cut off in these last times.
The Temple Institute has made a huge prophetic announcement. They have blown the shofar on the Temple Mount for the first time in nearly 2,000 years. Now, you may be wondering, why is this such big news? The shofar in the Bible is always used for big announcements. The shofar is not just a musical sound, it's literally the trumpet of heaven. It was blown at Mount Sinai when God gave the law to Israel. It was used in battle, like when the walls of Jericho fell. It was sounded to gather God's people. And in the New Testament, it is tied to the return of Jesus Christ. For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of an archangel, and with the trumpet of God. The reason they blew it this time, the Temple Institute is declaring our redemption is happening. And you know that's huge, because think about this. Jews have not been able to blow the shofar on the Temple Mount in nearly 2,000 years. The fact that they are able to do it now is absolutely huge. It shows that religious control is shifting. Jews are openly praying on the Temple Mount. They've begun preparing the third temple, and from what we know right now, they've already performed practice sacrifices of the red heifer, if, they were practice, just as the Bible describes in Numbers 19. And they have openly said they are waiting for their Messiah. And we know that this isn't the real Messiah, so what would he be? The Bible tells us that the AC will one day sit in this very temple. He will exalt himself above all that is called God, so that he sits as God in the temple of God. This is why this moment is so prophetic. The pieces are lining up exactly as Scripture said they would in the end of time. Friends, this is big news. The world sees just another religious act, but the Bible shows us it's pointing to the soon return of Jesus. So keep your eyes on him, not on the shaking of this world, but him and his word and his heart, because one day soon another trumpet will sound and it'll be the final one. And the dead in Christ will rise first, and we who are alive and remain will be caught up to meet them in the air. That is the trumpet that we are all waiting for. So stay awake, stay ready, stay with Jesus.
Something will happen to us, hopefully not soon, but either natural or man-made, that would cause the end of civilization. So the probable lifespan of civilization is much greater if we're a multi-planet species.
Again, they have to tell us before it actually happens. He was talking about an event that will cause the end of civilization. And in this conversation that he had, I think it was an interview or whatever he had going on, he goes on to talk about our only source or our only way out is Mars. He also goes on to talk about other beings. You have to catch what people are saying. Remember, they have to tell you. It has to be, and you have to be informed. That is the way that the kingdom of darkness operates. Now, please understand that there is a system that is already forming. And how do we know this? Because they've been having meetings. They just had a meeting in New York, and on September the 21st, they are supposedly coming together to either confirm the peace agreement, or I don't know what they're going to be doing, discussing it more. I can't tell you, but it's something to do with the peace agreement. So we know that there are systems in place that are forming. Not only that, there are major nuclear powers that have came together. You have Russia, China, and India. They just had a full meeting and they're forming powers. The East are coming together. We know that this is all biblical. I want to hone in on how Elon Dante Reeves decided to talk about there is an event that will take place. And you can see as he was saying it, he was really unsure. Like, he don't know when. He kind of confusion on when, but he knows that there is a major event that is going to cause the end of civilization. So that tells you right there what they are planning for, okay? I told you guys before, the Lord showed me that there was a mass deception that was coming. Now, on top of that, you have this billionaire who is, and I did a video on it, Peter Thiel. He's doing what they call a full lecture, 4 different sessions about the AC, September 15th, September 22nd, September 29th, and October the 6th. Now, if we looked into the numbers, I'm sure there's something symbolic there as well. They're saying that this lecture will not be made public, that is only for the Silicon Valley executives. Why do you think that these Silicon executives need this 4-part series about the AC? Y'all don't find that strange? Why this billionaire who lives in a lifestyle outside of what the Bible speaks of, literally, he has a whole nother different lifestyle. He calls himself a Christian. I'm not here to judge what people call themselves Christian. That ain't got nothing to do with me. But there's something strange happening, y'all. There is mass deception that is on the rise. The Bible talks about Mystery Babylon. We know who Mystery Babylon is. I don't need to go there. But in the book of Revelation, it talks about how the judgment of Babylon comes just in 1 hour. And we see things aligning. Here it is. Elon Dante Reeves decided to make this big announcement about the end of civilization. He's going on talking about Mars. He's also talking about other beings. They are telling us, and not only just telling us, in the spirit realm, you should be able to sense it and feel it and see it, that there is a mass deception that's happening. Not only that, you have the Harvard scientists saying that this, I forgot what they is calling it, the 3-something, AI, Atlas, ATL, whatever, Atlas, that is approaching the Earth. Now they're coming out wanting to be forthcoming about these other beings concerning our world here today. That is not by chance. There are no coincidences that all of these things are being talked about and they're coming out now. There is something that is getting ready to take the stage. Everything is shifting and things are shifting in place, even all the way to the economy. The American dollar right now is going to, it's on its last leg. You see these superpowers, India, Russia, China, come together. There's a reason why these superpowers are coming together. And again, Mystery Babylon, we know who we are. Those who don't know, those who get it. I'm going to say, do not be deceived. It is on its way. The lawless one is getting ready to position. I believe that the lawless one is already here. I told you the Lord showed me a scene of chess pieces being moved around. Do not be deceived. It is, this thing is getting ready to take the stage. We're here. It is coming. They're telling us it's in your face. It's not hard to see anymore at this point. But please know that we must be wise. We must understand and stay in God so he can continue to direct our path. So we are aware and we can sense what's coming when, because Satan knows his target. This is how Satan moves. It's all trickery, manipulation, deception. That's how Satan moves, especially with deception. So that is why we must pray, continuously pray for the spirit of discernment, to see, to hear clearly. Everything that Elon Dante you said, I can see you, sir, very clear. I know exactly what you're saying and what you didn't say. Okay? It's gonna happen. We don't know the day nor the hour. He basically said, Jesus gonna come back. I don't know the day nor the hour. The economy is about to be in an interruption. This is basically what he said in a nutshell. And I'm trying to get to Mars. And all the elites that we see that we can try to get up on Mars to try to avoid the doomsday, because he's coming for us. And you're right. That's what he said in a nutshell. Read what he said and read what he not. Meanwhile, everything is being literally put in place, y'all. Us who can see with our spiritual, everything is literally in alignment. This is blowing my mind. It is in alignment. Please understand that this is the hour, this is the season that God tells us to watch. I'm watching everything. Elon Dante Reeves, you're being watched. Watch as well as pray. Stay connected to God. He will not allow anything to creep up on us. He will make us aware of all things. Satan is the one that is evil and doing checks in the back, just doing too much. But God is a revealer of truth. And we have to stand on his word, stay in his face, put our face in the word of God, and put our faith in Jesus. Because in this hour, that's all we need. There's a lot going on there. Because he just told us the rapture is coming. Literally, go back and watch the video. It's on YouTube somewhere. He's literally saying the rapture is coming. I don't know when, but I'm trying to get to Mars. That's in a nutshell what he said. Take that what you will. Pray about that and go.
You guys, we are getting closer to the end times each and every day. I don't know if you know what's going on in the world right now, but you guys need to hear this. The end is drawing near. And I know you're probably gonna say, oh, we've heard this for centuries. We've heard this every year. But no, prophecy is being fulfilled, and it's being fulfilled very rapidly. All right, if you haven't seen this, right now they're currently working on bringing peace to the Middle East. Now, all who know Bible prophecy know that there's going to be a false peace that comes to the Middle East. Israel and its neighboring nations are going to sign a peace treaty. All the war and fighting and everything is going to stop for a minute. But this peace treaty will be broken, and there will be war and destruction once again. According to 1 Thessalonians 5 and Daniel 9, a peace treaty will be made for 7 years. But in the middle of that 7 years, that is when it will be broken. During that period is when the Antichrist will be revealed. He will sit in the temple of God, proclaiming himself to be God. There will be blasphemy, and that is when the mark of the beast and the worship of the beast will be implemented, and that is when Christians will be persecuted and killed and jailed. Which brings me to the next thing that has happened. There is a program called 50 in 5, which is an initiative to start a digital ID. Now, what does a digital ID sound like? You guys guessed it. This is going to be the mark of the beast. This digital ID is going to contain your birth certificate, your social security, all of your personal information digitally, which I'm sure is also going to tie into digital currency. This is going to be your ticket into society. If you want to buy, go to work, if you want to sell, if you want to shop, get groceries, anything, you are going to need this mark. They've already started implementing this, starting over in Africa and in India. Why those countries? You know why. By 2030 is when it's supposed to be nationwide, worldwide. And who, of course, funded this? It is in collaboration with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the United Nations Development Program, the Digital Public Good Alliance, and co-developed, which was founded by the Rockefeller Foundation. This is a quote this man said, allegedly. Some people said it's not true, but of course the internet and fact checkers say he never said this, but those who were at this discussion said that he said, digital ID must be accepted by U.S. citizens by 2028, otherwise risk exclusion from society. Again, this is all alleged. I'm not saying he said this. I'm saying from word of mouth, this is what was said. But it could not be true. Once again, this was alleged TikTok. I'm not saying he said this. It's alleged. Just so my video doesn't get taken down again. Now, this next thing is what made me a little, I don't want to say worried, but a little cautious about what's about to happen in these next coming years. Okay, if you didn't hear, Israel had gotten some red heifers that they were going to use to do a sacrifice. In the Old Testament, a red heifer was used as a sacrifice. It had to be unblemished, in perfect condition, with no flaws whatsoever. It would be sacrificed, and its ashes would be mingled and mixed with water in order to purify and cleanse anything that was defiled. So Israel, present time, has been trying to get a perfect, unblemished red heifer in order to do this sacrifice so that they can begin building the third temple. Well, news broke that the heifers that they got, that they were disqualified because they weren't perfect. However, news is spreading that a secret red heifer sacrifice was performed in Israel after the public was told it was only a practice. The Texan who provided the heifer said that there was at least one perfect red heifer. The priest said that there was one perfect red heifer that they could use. However, after performing this practice sacrifice, they said there is no perfect red heifer. So this said when the day came, the disqualified animal never appeared. Instead, Tikva, a perfect red heifer with not a single stray hair, was sacrificed in strict accordance with ancient Jewish law. Every step was carried out exactly as prescribed, from the preparation of the ashes to the ritual purity of the priest performing it. Okay, so as I described, the tradition of this was the completion of the red heifer sacrifice means that the way is now open for the arrival of the Messiah, which we already know Jesus already came and he was already prepared, but the Jews are still waiting for the Messiah to come, right? And the construction of the long anticipated third temple in Jerusalem. The reason they said that they lied about it just being a practice is because protesters and religious people know that the third temple means the end times. The Antichrist comes, the Messiah can come, the Messiah, right? So again, they did it in secrecy is because the Temple Mount is the most politically explosive place on earth. Muslims see any step toward rebuilding the Jewish temple as a direct threat to the Al-Aqsa Mosque. I don't know if I'm saying that right. In fact, Hamas once claimed the arrival of the Texas heifers in 2022 helped spark the October 7th war. So if Israel admitted to having ashes of a true red heifer, conflict would intensify immediately. This may explain why leaders downplayed the event, calling it a practice. So after the sacrifice, it was said that they declared stop talking and start building the third temple. As I said, the Texas rancher who delivered the heifers, he publicly stated that the animal was a perfect kosher red heifer and that the ceremony was real. Before the ceremony, the Temple Institute hinted they had a kosher animal. Afterward, they said none were left. Did the only perfect candidate just get sacrificed? So if the sacrifice happened, that means the third temple will be rebuilt. Why is this so important? Because according to the Bible, there is a temple in the end times that the Antichrist will come and sit in and proclaim to be God. There is a temple that will be desecrated. In Daniel 9, in 2 Thessalonians, and in Ezekiel, they all detail that a temple must be here in order for the end times to come. So if the sacrifice takes place, that means the temple will start being rebuilt, which means that the Antichrist will be revealed soon, which means that the persecution of Christians will also begin, which means that God's wrath will also begin on the wicked, which means that Jesus Christ will be coming back soon. And if you guys remember the video I did about the Star of Jacob, and how I had a theory that this star might represent the proclaiming of the Antichrist being born, but the Jews looking at it as the Messiah being born, the same way the star proclaimed Jesus being born, and how the wise men knew that Jesus was born because of this star. You guys can also check that out too. I go further into detail about that, but that's all just a theory. But with all these things happening all at once, I'm just really rolling in my mind right now. And I always felt that the end time would be in my lifetime, but like, all these things happening, I'm like, is it going to happen sooner than what I'm thinking? Because I don't want to go through this persecution. Like, obviously I will. I told God this. I'll gladly die for you. I'll gladly proclaim you to the end. But like, I've been through enough suffering in my life. I don't want to go through any more suffering, God. But yeah, Jesus is coming soon, you guys. The end times is coming soon. The world as we know it is ending. It's good news, obviously, but it's also low-key scary news because there's going to be much tribulation. I know you're going to talk about the rapture, but I'm not even going to get into that on this video. But what do you guys think? Tell me your thoughts. Do you think they actually performed the sacrifice of the red heifer? Will the digital ID really be mandatory by 2030? Will the peace treaty be signed in these next coming years? I guess we'll find out. Hopefully we don't. As always, it's time to get right with God, you guys. Stop delaying, stop pushing him off, stop thinking that this isn't going to happen because it's happening.
So for the very first time in 2000 years, the shofar was is it shofar or shofar was blown on the temple. I think it was actually blown somewhere in Israel, and this has actually sparked people to react and to comment about what has been going on and what is really going on and what is it that these folks are not telling us. The thing is that every single body that have talked with, have come across with, always tell me that they'll feel that there is something really happening. They'll feel that something is about to happen or something is already happening, or they feel there is an energy that people are just feeling right now. Like, okay, let's just talk about some of these teachers I put up here about aliens invading the earth, the aliens that were supposedly supposed to be coming November, and the other stitch I put up about what happened in Miami Mall last year, which these people decided to look for ways to to clean it up, talking about how some group of teenagers were actually playing with fireworks, and one thing led to the others. It leads to disagreement, and that is why so many of these cars find their way to the location. But meanwhile, this year, especially this month, so many people took to the social platform, so many eyewitness of what really happened in Miami decided to share their stories. Some of them claim that they saw some figures. Some claim there are dark figures from 8 to 10 feet figures, which they saw. Some of them even talked about how they had all of the evidence in their phones, but unfortunately, they don't even know how some of the clip disappeared from their phones. When I heard about that, I was like, if some of this clip disappears, that means our phones, our social phones and everything is even being monitored. Because, I have seen some couple of stitches, right? About people complaining about how when they keep their phone close to them and they fall asleep, they feel as though somebody is looking at them. They feel as though somebody is looking at them. A close Somebody close to me, my close sister, have told me an experience that she heard about her phone, that she feels somebody is looking at her through the phone. But because of that, she stopped sleeping with her phone. She also told me to look truly on my phone, that I'm going to see something that is very close to the camera, like a face camera, right? I'm going to see a dot at the front of my phone, which is the camera dot, right? But there is another dot that she does not really trust. And funny enough, I decided to look at my phone, and surprisingly, I am seeing two dots on the, like, just try it. I don't know, but she told me to look closely on my phone. We have the big dot that is maybe the camera, the front camera, right? But there is this little one that is so shiny. It has a little light. She told me that that dot is something that people really need to look into. That's apart. Let's go into the said stitch of today. Elon Musk took to the platform to talk about how something is going to happen. This guy has been chipping in one thing led to the other of what might happen or what is happening. If it's not alien, it's the flood. Some people claim that it's Anunnaki that is coming. I believe that Anunnaki is some prophetic, fallen angels that fell according to what is the name of this book? Enoch. Okay. While the aliens are maybe scientific or human made or something, I don't know. But the thing is that there is something really going on, which these guys has been hiding from the public. And somebody even talked about how what they did in Miami might probably just be a test to know how people will react to aliens invading the earth, or to know the responses of people in case they just want to go ahead with what they have been planning for a very long time. Lovelace, at this point, I'm just going to say it is better for you want to be on the safer side, watch your step, watch the environment, be informed. Always look into, even if some people still do not believe, but I just feel that it's better to just know some things so that when eventually it occur, it might not occur, you won't be taken unaware. Anyways, and just leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. Please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. So please share this video Subscribe to this channel if you're here to do that. Like, and I will see you lovelies when I upload. But just let me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. Please like this video, share it for awareness sake. And I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.